Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture, we will discuss three-phase AC system. That is, what is three-phase AC system and why do we need three-phase AC system? If I consider a single-turn generator, as you can see here in this figure, then it will generate a single-phase AC voltage having less value of the voltage. So this is the single-turn generator. Single-turn generator. In case of single-turn generator, single-phase AC voltage will produce. So single-phase AC voltage will produce. So the single-phase AC voltage, the value of the voltage will be less. The value of the voltage will be less. So now the question is, how can we increase the voltage? So the next important point is, the next question is, how can we increase the voltage? The voltage. So as we know, E is basically equal to, induced voltage is basically equal to N d phi over dt. So phi is the flux and N is basically the number of turns. N is basically number of turns. So as you can see here in this equation, the relationship between the induced voltage and the number of turns is directly proportional. So the answer of this question is, we can increase the voltage by increasing the number of turns. So if we want to increase the value of the single phase voltage, we can increase the value of the single phase voltage by increasing the number of turns, because the relationship between the number of turns and the induced voltage is directly proportional. So sometimes that voltage is not even sufficient to supply three-phase heavy industrial practical loads. So at that time, so now the question is what we can do. So the next important point is, so sometimes the voltage is not even sufficient. The single phase voltage is not even sufficient to supply three-phase heavy industrial loads, to supply three-phase heavy industrial loads. So this is also a very important point. So sometimes the single phase AC voltage is not even sufficient to supply three-phase heavy industrial loads. So at that time, so now the question is what we can do. So now the question is what we can do at that time. If the voltages are not sufficient, if the voltages of single phase are not sufficient to supply the three-phase heavy industrial loads, then at that time, what we can do. So the answer of this question is, so this is very important point. So the answer of this question is, we can connect such single phase supplies in such a manner that it will give us more power to supply the heavy loads of industry. So the answer of this important point is, we can connect such single phase phases in such a manner that it will give us more power to supply, that it will give us more power to supply, more power to supply the heavy loads, the heavy three-phase industrial loads. That is, we will increase the number of phases from 1 to 3. So we will increase number of phases from 1 to 3. So this is the basic introduction of the three-phase AC system. That is, in case of single phase voltages, the value of the voltages are very less to supply three-phase heavy industrial load. So in this case, we will connect such a single phases in such a manner that it will give us more power to supply the heavy three-phase industrial loads. That is, we will increase the number of phases from 1 to 3. Okay, now we will discuss, why do we need three-phase AC system? So voltage produced by a single phase supply is low and not enough to supply heavy industrial loads. In industry, heavy machines are there. Those machines can't work on single phase. For heavy machines, we need high voltage, which cannot be provided by a single phase supply. So in industry, so in industry, heavy loads required polyphase supply. Heavy load requires polyphase supply. So the polyphase means many number of phases. Many number of phases. So it means I need to connect many circuits, that is many single phase circuits, in such a way it will give us high voltage and high power. So in polyphase system, there are many independent AC voltages present. So in polyphase system, in polyphase system, there are many independent AC voltages present. So now the question is how many number of phases we will use. So the next important point is in polyphase, how many number of phases we will use. How many number of phases we will use. The answer of this question is, so the answer of this question, the answer is we will use three number of phases. We will use three number of phases. As you can see here in this diagram, there are three number of phases. The phase, this is the phase A, and this is the phase B, and this is the phase C. So there are three number of phases. So to provide the power to heavy industrial load, we require high voltage and high power. So in this case, we use polyphase power system. So in case of polyphase, the question is how many number of phases we will use. The answer of this question is we will use three number of phases. So in case of three number of phases, the power is always constant because in the sum of all the voltages is equal to 0 and the sum of the all three phase currents are also equal to 0. So regarding the voltage and current we will discuss later on. So this is the answer of the question, why do we need of three-phase power supply? Okay, now we will discuss what is the three-phase system. So as we have already discussed how many number of phases we will use, in case of single phase, we will use the single phase and the neutral wire. So in case of three-phase system, we will use three number of phases. So this is the phase A, this is the phase B, and this is the phase C. So in case of single phase supply, the voltage are sinusoidal and the current is also sinusoidal. So in case of single phase, the power will be sinusoidal as well. So this is the instantaneous power. So in case of single phase, the power is instantaneous. It means in every time, in every second, the value of the power will be different. Because the value is of the, in case of single phase, the voltage is also sinusoidal, instantaneous voltage. The current is also instantaneous, and hence the power is also instantaneous. So if we want to increase the number of phases, then there will be some phase difference as well. So for heavy industrial load, we use three-phase system. The phase difference between the three-phase system is 120 degree, and in case of Y connection, there will be three number of phases. So now we will discuss what does three-phase system means. Three-phase system is a system in which the magnitudes and frequencies of AC voltages are same and phase difference of 120 degree. So there are three important points here. First one is what will be the magnitude of voltages in each phase. So in case of three-phase system, so in case of three-phase system, the first important point is what will be the magnitude of voltages in each phase. What will be the magnitude of voltages in each phase? voltages in each phase. The next important question is, what will be the frequency? What will be the frequency? And the third important question is, in case of three-phase system, what will be the phase difference? That is, how much phase difference will be. So there are three important questions for the three-phase system. The first one is, what will be the magnitude of the voltages in each phase? The next important question is, what will be the frequency in each phase, and how much phase difference will be? So answer of this question is, three-phase system is a system in which the magnitudes and the frequency of the AC voltages are same. So it means the magnitude of the voltage in each phase will be same. So the answer of this question is, magnitude of the voltages in each phase will be same. The frequency will be same as well. And the third question is, how much phase difference will be? The phase difference will be 120 degree between two phases. So now we can define the three-phase power system. So the three-phase system is a system in which the magnitudes and frequencies of AC voltages are same and phase difference of 120 degree. As you can see here in this diagram, there are three number of phases. This is the phase A, this is the phase number 1, this is the phase number 2, and this is the phase number 3. In all phases, there are same number of turns. It means the magnitude of the voltage will be same in each phase because the number of turns of wire in each phase are same. So the next one is, the frequency of the three-phase system will be same. And the third important point is, the phase difference should be 120 degree. That is, so as you can see here, this is the phase A and this is the phase, this is phase A and this is the phase C and this is the phase B. So the phase difference between each two phases should be 120 degree. And here the phase difference 120 degree as well, and here the phase difference 120 degree as well. So in case of three-phase system, the phase difference between the two phases, let's suppose this is the phase A, this is the phase B, and this is the phase C. The phase difference between each two phases should be 120 degree. So this is also 120 degree phase difference, and this is also 120 degree phase difference. Why the phase difference is 120 degree? Why does phase difference 120 degree? The answer of this question is, as we know, in single circle, the angle in a single circle is angle of a complete circle is equal to 360 degree. So in case of three-phase system, we will divide 360 degree divided by total number of phases. So these are the number of phases. So if we divide 360 divided by total number of phases, in case of three-phase system, the angle will be equal to 120 degree. So this is the reason why the phase difference is basically equal to 120 degree. So this is the end of this lecture. In the next lecture, we will discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of the three-phase system.